How party people, today was I think day 31 of this shit show that we're in. It's getting old. And it's getting increasingly difficult to trade because setups that you've taken in the past that you're like, ooh, this is 100% banger, or this can go 200%, or then you gotta kind of take them at 30%, or as today was the case, 20. So you're sitting there, exposing yourself, right? That's why it was awesome that we in the morning caught Microsoft and we caught Nvidia, and I guess I'm back in UPST, which is holding after hours surprisingly well here. Market closed there. It's you know uh, so let's see tomorrow. But anyways, let's get into it. So SPY clearly holding this level here. Look, we are in the 1 hour demand zone. Bear flagging. So I think that this literally was retail dumping out of panic of no deal, and also 0DT is closing. So a lot of people held their puts from this cross here probably already earlier in the day, but there's green divergence here, and also there's a head and shoulders set up like that. Okay, and I mean this market is just inverted head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders, but it's the slaps, once you come to a level and you're like, instead of it holding, it just slaps you right down. So you gotta really be sniping. Nevertheless, it's above yesterday's low, and it's above pre-market low. Tomorrow, originally I had early high, so what I would like to see is a gap up, preferably over 411.50, and for it to run up to 12 or north of 12, then we could still try for one more. But then, I mean, just look at it. Kissed here, kissed here, kissed here, kissed here, kissed here. That's close enough for rock and roll. If we get above 412, it has two choices. It's not gonna go sideways. It's either gonna break out and squeeze all the way up to here, or it's gonna dump. And if I had to choose one in Russian roulette, I'd probably go with puts. Okay, now SPX, same thing. It could be a really big head and shoulders, or this could be the start of it. See what I mean? And we could go even lower. I am not in this market putting it past for this to go down to this, to 410. That's why I have an alert there, and then up. And if it would do that and we gap down and we get a reaction here, that is a great 0DTE play. Okay, now I know first thing in the morning you want to sit there and you want to enjoy the range and all this shit, but like this morning, that on QQQ, where were we? Let's zoom in. That was some reaction. Now, I'll get back to it. But look, we have red divergence all the way up here. Okay, this is the daily on QQQ. We're in this wedge. It's a completely different setup than, for instance, SPY SPX market. That's this here, this huge cluster here. QQQ, that's where all the strength is, right? And this is going to be a little bit of a longer recap. Oil, who cares? Dixie, I mean, completely manipulated is what it is, right? Here's the deal, the VIX. All right, so that's the level, right? But it also has this slightly descending trend line. We closed underneath it. It got slapped down fast. That's the hourly, okay? And if you go on the 5 minute, same thing. And this trend line is on point, by the way. It got rejected from the daily high and closed underneath there. If you can't get above that, market favors calls, and we could. Here's the thing, okay? This is why my read was like a little confused in the end. Look at this. Last time we got this, we had a gigantic squeeze. I mean, that is data given by AI. What is that? That is a huge increase of calls, all calls from 1897 to 81, whatever that is. That is huge. While puts just did that. This is, I mean, that is huge. So all I'm saying is, I don't, my read is like something's going on. And why Wednesday is there zero Fed speakers? Is something staring us in the face? There's no Fed speakers. There's some ECB dude. Okay, great. There's, there's nothing really going on tomorrow. So that could be it. Now Elon's out pumping Tesla, and it hit a resistance, and then it sold off, and now it just bumped up again. Now, let's be Mr. Bill de Blasio private eye here. While the market's dumping, regional banks get bought up big. Obviously, no one sees that because everybody's looking at SPY. Just something to keep in mind. I'm just bringing you what I'm looking at. Okay. JPM, huge spike of dark pool on the 15 minute. On the 1 minute, still some buying, right? Flow, no. So that's institutional buying. Apple, here, huge spike of flow in the close while the market was selling off. Dark pool held steady. The SPY flow and dark pool held pretty even, Steven, considering that sell-off. They bought tech, but they also sold some dark pool. So it's all kind of inconclusive. We could be looking at individual stocks tomorrow, like, Tesla can move. Bitcoin just like glued to 27 over there. As far as ES and overnight, I would not. I mean, this is a big signal. I have it so that I see which ones they are. That's a big signal. I wouldn't want it to go lower than, let's say, 411. Okay, what I mean is 41111. Okay, this, I wouldn't want it, but if it goes there overnight and then comes back up before we open, that means that we have a double bottom, and I'll be slamming 0 DTs out the gate for a really quick move. Okay, so don't overtrade. We got to be hitting levels. If I say small, I'm literally testing the waters and literally playing super small. So if I get knifed, I don't cry. The big heavy plays will come when we break out of this range. Again, the biggest WTF thing in this market is this. Every time we've seen this, we've short squeezed very soon. And that's pretty huge. There's nothing really except building permits. Who cares on the economic agenda? then we got this debt ceiling thing, and the news were like, oh, we're not reaching a deal, but now we're talking, and we're, you know, we and Kev agreed to not letting the US default. Okay, so he agreed to not letting the US default. Janet Yellen comes out after hours and says, hold on, where was it? She comes out and she says, US Treasury cash is down 52 billion in one day, down to a total of 88 billion, as Janet warns the department could soon run out of money if debt ceiling is not raised. Okay, I don't know what in the fuck is going on, but they just ditched out 52 billion in a day. At the same rate, come Thursday, when this wedge ends, we're gonna need a decision here to either crack the screen down here or crack the screen down up here. And then we have Powell. So if you see something, share it. There's big money to be made here. And I'm gonna tomorrow, if we aren't below where we are now, I am going to try some calls out the gate. Now, another thing, you remember yesterday the tick closed red. Yes, it was in the negative. However, it's got upward momentum. As you see, the MACD I have on that, once that crosses, it's usually good. So it's looking like we could get a snapback, which I'm going to be banking on. And this KRE, and let me just pull up JPM here. That could also be why UPST held JPM. I just want to see if there's volume going into the close. It's red. It was still a green day. Okay, but anyways, hopefully. Oh, and one thing I wanted to show you guys is this. We have gotten one buy signal on the daily on Q, and even when we got a 6 on the D4, we've just gone sideways, and now we got a 1. So okay, this guy clearly is pretty strong. And another thing, look here, look at the TTM. Okay, then when it hits blue, we retrace and it does its thing, and then it pops again. We're really tight here, but it's still teal, and this is curling up. So I'm not saying we're going to just dump here, but it is getting tighter and tighter. So by Friday, I mean, I would expect that we have a move either way that's sizable, and I would expect that move to retrace as well. As of right now, I have early high tomorrow, so maybe we catch, if it's an inverted head and shoulder, we catch this move. I wouldn't mess around with the retrace too much, but if it does, maybe we try something in the end. And then we have jobs on Thursday, and then it's OPEX and Powell. So don't get cooked this week and trade with a stop loss, and don't oversize in a range. Look, again, guys, we've had days also in this range where we go from, what was this, 403 to 413. Okay, $10, awesome. Or a candle here, what's this, 410 to 414. You don't want to be just like oversizing in a small cluster. Then you can play individual stocks, like when I said Nvidia or Microsoft or UPST or Google, they're moving. So I'll be looking at Tesla tomorrow. If it can break over 169.5, it's a go. But if it rejects it's going to sell hard. So yeah, sorry for the long recap, but I just wanted to update you guys on what I'm looking at, so we're speaking the same train language. All right, have a good one. I'll see you at dawn.